Let's get into some Cowboy talk.
Okay, so we're here for training camp.
Yeah.
To be honest, like, I feel like there's nothing really good to ask that hasn't been discussed already when it comes to football. Mm-hmm. Like, for me, that's like, even this morning when I went live, that's like the hardest part. It's just like, especially after yesterday, there wasn't really anything that surprised me except for SimiFehoko playing tight end. Mm-hmm. But outside of that, there wasn't anything that I'm just like, okay, headline worthy.
Sure.
Do you ever get to the point where you're just like, all right, somebody come, knock on my door when August 29th gets here?
Mm-hmm. I hate preseason.
Okay.
I hate preseason. I love player evaluation, though, because draft side of me loves player evaluation.
That makes sense.
But I feel like once I got my roster figured out, like, all right, I'm just ready to go play now, So for a couple of weeks now, I've been ready to go play now. But I think that's because the Cowboys have built such a fantastic roster that it's not a bunch of moving parts. I remember, or at least there's not a lot of, like, loose parts or whatever I would say. If you look at our cornerback room, everybody got a role. It's hard to just break yourself into that cornerback room. Because what'll happen is preseason, right? Or camp or whatever. They'll call these camp battles, preseason battles, where guys will come in and compete. Who can we watch in preseason game 2 or 3 and go, that dude is fighting for a spot to be on this team? We can't. We're waiting on Jordan to come back. We know what Kelvin's job is. Gilly, Duran, Diggs, locked in. Nashawn is hurt, but he ain't really fighting for a spot. Eric Scott is young, so he's finding his way. He'll be like a younger dude, whatever. All the other corners just got to go. Right? I think there was some fight in the wide receiver room. Semi guys like Jalen Brooks, Jalen Tolbert, but Tolbert nipped that shit in the bud quick.
100%.
He nipped his shit in the bud quick, and then it just turned into, what do we do with Turpin? If you look at our pass rushers, like our last pass rusher, think about this. Any other preseason Cowboy time, our sixth pass rusher, right? All right, 6 pass rusher, whatever. Go get cut. Our 6 pass rushers like Isaiah Land, Dante Fowler type dude. That dude's important. Like, that dude's important somehow, right? Like, there's Micah and D-Law that just sets this thing off. There's Dorrance and Sam Williams got arrested. But there's Dorrance and Sam Williams. That's 4. Mm-hmm. But god damn, I like Dante Fowler. Damn, I like Isaiah Land. Tyrus Wheat was a fan of mine. We watched Tyrus Wheat in Patreon. He's moving around doing Mike linebacker things, doing it. Man, I like Tyrus Wheat too. Now we like, damn, there's no room to compete. There's no room for these guys to compete. Like, we know exactly what our safety room is going to look like. Mm. So what am I watching preseason now for? Because I'm sick of preseason. Once I saw one game of Deuce Vaughn, I was like, all right, that's it.
You're watching to see SimiFehoko play tight end.
You want to tell us about that? You want to talk to the people? You want to go on another rant?
I thought we were friends.
Did
you just call it a rant?
No. Hell no. Hell no. No, hey, Simi got the size for tight end. If he's so cool. John Stevens was a big receiver.
I thought we were friends.
Damn, boy, Simi got boy. They wouldn't give him a new position if he wasn't important, huh? Ooh,
thank you. That's what I'm saying.
Damn, boy. Sheesh. Listen, shouts out to Simi. I love Simi to pieces. Simi had some fun film at Stanford. But Jalen Brooks did not take this thing laying down.
Not at all.
Acquiring Brandon Cooks made it very difficult for SimiFehoko. MichaelGallup getting healthy.
Only because of spots on the roster.
Spots on the roster, of course. MichaelGallup being healthy. We'll see. Jalen Tolbert emerging made it really difficult for all these guys on this roster. So it ain't Simi. It's just his surrounding cast. Go on.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that, because it's like, before all these things happened, there was all the talk about, okay, wide receiver 4 battles, Simi versus Jalen Tolbert, and then you get all these people, and now here we are. Mm-hmm. And then there was the tipped pass heard around the world that didn't do him any favors, followed by a quad contusion. He had a rough camp. So it's like, I get what people are saying. I don't so much have a problem with people saying he won't be on the roster. I have a problem with people saying that he's like trash, because I don't think he's trash. I think he has strengths and abilities and things that could be useful to an offense, things that could be useful to a team.
Yeah.
And so that's, as a fan, and yes, if you watch me, you know this. I am a fan of SimiFehoko. I'm not saying this as like an objective review of the wide receiver room. I'm a fan of SimiFehoko.
I don't think a lot of the guys that we're talking about moving on from are just cutting or waving. I don't think any of these guys are trash because this team dressed really well. It's just that, man, we just roster building. We got 55 spots.
You gotta make a choice.
And it's only so much we can do when you draft well. We just got a room full of dudes. I just remember once upon a time, Jeremy Mincy. Like, were you a Cowboy fan when this was going on?
No.
The dude named Jeremy Mincy. If I had to give a modern day comparison to who okay, you know who Flowers from he's a defensive end from like the Lions. He went to the Patriots or whatever. You know him? Trey Flowers, defensive end. Jeremy Mincy is about what Trey Flowers is.
Okay.
And he was the best defensive end on our team. He was D-end 1.
Okay.
And Rod Marinelli, who was our DC at the time, Dan Quinn's much better. Rod Marinelli got the most out of Jeremy Mincy. I think Jeremy Mincy had like 8 sacks one day, and Cowboy Nation loved Jeremy Mincy. Jeremy Mincy don't make this fucking roster. That's how far we've come.
That's valid. That's legit.
That's how far we've come. Randy Gregory would be the 3rd rusher here, maybe, behind Micah and D-Law. He was always behind D-Law. He ain't touching Micah now. And Randy Gregory was like, oh, I love him. Let's give him the number 94 and compare him to Charles Haley. And I love Randy Gregory. But boy, this team is just so different. I love what Will Still said on his show today. People say the Cowboy fans are always the ones saying, oh, this year's going to be the year. This year's going to be the year. I never said that, right? A lot of us don't say that. We can get excited, but we don't say this year's the year because we're aware that we have deficiencies.
Right.
But when you've cleared up all the impediments, when you've addressed everything, when you've turned over every stone, then you add more help. Come on. Remember we was in the Patreon at one time watching The Rock and we did the hand motion. Then you add more help. This team is different.
It is.
It's totally different. And I'm not, like last year, Nashawn Wright was like cornerback 4 or 5. He was competing for that. I don't know. Nashawn,
Yeah, and that's essentially what's happened with the wide receiver room as well. Even I was listening to Mike McCarthy's press conference from yesterday, and he made a point to say like he was never down on Jalen Tolbert, and he talked about how Tolbert didn't get a lot of opportunities, and he even said that like he was kept off of special teams, because some people criticized Tolbert for that, for not doing more special team stuff, and he was like, no, Jalen Tolbert was kept off of special teams, so he definitely acknowledged the circumstances that led to fans not thinking very much of Jalen Tolbert and him being compared to the likes of SimiFehoko, right? And I can say that not to disparage Simi, but like it's true. Simi has had way less experience in the receiver position. So the fact that Tolbert was compared to him is like understanding their careers is kind of crazy when you think about it, right? And so just thinking about that and going from that to where we are with the receiver room this season, I think it just died.
Okay.
A light died.
It's okay.
But going from that to thinking about where we are now, like, yeah, you can see how everything's evolved. So yes, I'm a Simi fan, but I'm also a MichaelGallup fan. Yeah. And I have thoughts on why people are not excited about him. And
you wanted to fight me at the table about Gallup yesterday.
I did.
Okay.
That's the part that I should have posted on Twitter. I posted a very I didn't even intend to keep the sound on for the video that I posted. I should have posted the discussion about it was us talking about the O-line and also talking about receivers and why people were excited about some people and down on some people. So, but I feel like I really didn't get a good response from you. I feel like you did that thing that you do where
I deflected?
Yes. Whereas like you hear the question, but then you start to answer it, and then you take that answer and you turn it into what you want to talk about.
You gotta understand. you gotta understand. Boss Cowboy was in one ear. Will Steele was there. Brian was just listening, taking in all the information, and Watt was playing in the background.
So Voch was not deflecting at all.
I got distracted.
He was just distracted.
I love Watt.
He was just distracted from the question I asked 3 times.
Okay, so how about this? Go ahead. Ask a question. Go ahead, please. Ask a question. Ask it now, clearly, and I can. There's no Watt playing. Ask it now, and I'll answer your question. I will not deflect.